told you, well, we have probably talked to Pastor. I'm that one. So, glad to see you. Thank you for coming. Yes, if I'd have known you were coming, I'd have brought donuts. Because I told them if they bring people, I'll bring donuts. But they don't play fair. Even Sister Sheila donated some donuts, and they didn't play fair. So I'm glad to see you. What's your classification at Lander? You're a junior. Okay. What are you majoring in? Sociology. Okay. Y'all ready to go live? Ready? I am the seed that grows and advances the kingdom for soul winning. This word, bread of life, that I received today. It's not only for me, but to be shared with others, that they may grow in Christ,
as well as myself, for the purpose of successful living.
Come on now, you should know that. You got new glasses. Come on. All right, what's our scriptures? You may be seated. What is our scriptures that we have for the evening? I want to welcome all of you who are joining us, repeat, and those that are for the first time. We're here at the Greenwood campus at the House of Reconciliation. We're going to talk to you tonight. We've been dealing with the stinking seven, and we actually want to try to close the door on the number one thing that keeps people from achieving, receiving, and even accepting what God has for them. Not only God has for them, but what life has for them. And so when I go into these little 15, 20-minute endeavors to share, they're never personal. They're never about a person. They're about life and how we should view life and think about life and understand that there is a source greater than us. No matter what mountain we're facing, there is something greater than us. So to the virtual campus, if you haven't signed up for the virtual campus, do so. Go to houseofreconciliation.org. It is free. We're in the process of adding more PowerPoints and things to that. So please don't hesitate to do it. Please like, share, and post on social media. Those numbers help us. We're looking to gain grants. I'm excited to do some things with Lander, with some of the young ladies that are coming. I would love to build a campus ministry there. So we're in Greenwood tonight. We will be in Greenville tomorrow. We had two scriptures. I want to use those two scriptures. Does someone have them? Matthew 15 and 8.
This people draws nigh unto me.
All right, see, here is one of the challenges we have. God says, this people draw now unto me with their mouths. Mm-hmm. It is easy to say that I am a child of God and God is blessing me when things are going my way and I've received something that I didn't think I should receive or have. It is easy to assume that I am a child of God. And a lot of people use this. And here's what it says. This people draw nigh unto me with their mouths. And here's where many people get stuck. People have told you things that they never intended to do. People have shared things with you that you thought was close and personal, but they never intended for it to be close and personal. And so when we are hit, when we are wounded, when we are hurt, we become stuck. We don't see it as a lesson. We don't see it as a problem that can be solved. The word that nobody uses much anymore, the word sin, makes it look bigger than what it is. And this kind of stuff leads to depression, it leads to anxiety, and it leads to uncertainty. So the Lord says, if we put that back up, it says, and honors me with their lips. So the mouth, which is basically the tongue, and then the lips, people will say things. Hey, you can ride with me. Hey, I got you. You need help. I got you. And so you think you can depend on the person. And actually, it's a caveat. What does that mean? A person will say you can depend on me to weaken you. Because when you go to them for help, what they said with their mouth and what they said with their lips, look at what it says, but it's not in their heart. And some people never had it to help you. But they knew they could create false hope in you. Watch this. because you were desperate and short-sighted. Now, next scripture. We're talking about the 5 wise and the 5 foolish.
Matthew 25:2.
Matthew 25:2.
And the 5 of them were wise,
No, we're not going to deal with the wise. We're going to deal with those later. And what?
and 5 was foolish.
What do you view that as? If we could bring it into this modern day society that we live in, what do you view it as? What do you think 5 foolish? What would be something foolish that you would know would be foolish, and you would think the person that was doing it would be foolish? Just throw some things out there. Somebody say always want to borrow money. Okay, you're in need of money yourself, and somebody come to you always wanting to borrow money. Okay, someone else? Excuse me? Put a circle around that one, because we're coming back to that one, negativity. Okay? Foolishness many times is birthed out of negativity. Why? It creates an impulsive response that is not qualified. How many of us have responded to something when we didn't have the accurate information? We responded out of a knee-jerk reaction, out of our emotions. And I want you to tell me, when have our emotions paid the bills? And think, on the other hand, how many times have our emotions created more problems than what we had? How many times have you and I allowed our emotions? For me, I can honestly say, at one time I got 2 tickets within 5 minutes. I was speeding. I got stopped at 95 miles an hour in the 35-mile zone. After I got that ticket, I went right back to speeding, and I had wound up with 1 point. Now, you look at me today, you'd be like, really? Yes. All because my emotions were out of control. When your emotions are out of control with your reality, you create a storm. Does this make sense? Come on, read.
And 5 of them were wise,
5 of them were wise.
and 5 was foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Who are those people? Who are those people? Always got an idea. Come on. But never have a plan. Always have an idea. Always can tell you how to handle your issues, but never have a plan for themselves. Foolish, always in their emotions. What does that mean? If it's always about wins and losses, you never see the value of the game. Because true life is not always about wins and losses. So when you're doing it for the wrong reason and you're doing it out of your emotions, that means you're getting a temporary fix. Not anything permanent, temporary. Does that make sense? We use the word negative. I'm going to read these 5 things to you real quick, and then we're going to dabble into it, but hold that word negative. When we talk about 5 foolish, we talked about basically there are certain types of people you cannot help. And I just want to review those right quick. You can't help people who don't think they need it. An example, you can't get someone to take medicine who doesn't believe that they're sick. You can be sweating in the bed, and you wake up, oh, I wonder why I'm sweating. If you're not going through a certain particular thing as a female or whatever, you probably got a fever. But how many people is going to take something? So basically what you want to address will come back up later and create more of an issue. Number 2, you can't help people who know they need it and don't want it. The man at the pool. How many people, you've made it through your senior year, so you're pushing through right now. All the baby classes are over with. It's tough now. Are you having to do, God, what do they call it? Internship anywhere? Senior, okay. And so you have all these stages, and see, when it's easy, when you can go to football games, you can stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning. When it's easy, people think, oh man, college is great. This is easy. What's so hard? The steps get higher. They become more complicated. You are excited to go, but you don't have any discipline to stay. Boy, that got cold real quick. You had money to stay. Yo, I can just buy this and I can. But then if your check doesn't come to the 1st and it's on the 26th and your light is on yellow in the car for gas and you don't get your check until week out the next. Come on. You can't help people who know they need it and don't want it. The man the pool at the pool of Bethesda. You can't help people who don't want it yet. How much energy have you wasted? And remember that word energy. How much energy have you wasted on people who've literally closed their ears? That's probably, let's say realistically, what percentage do you think of people that are still at Lander today that started with you? What do you think that percentage is? Oh, I see the expression. I won't put you on camera because somebody might see you. So we're just going to have this conversation between you and I. How many you think is 5% that's still there? 10?
Like 15% from my class.
From your class. So when you started as a freshman, what happened to the other 85%?
They stopped coming after the freshman.
They stopped coming after that. See, the first semester is easy, but that's when you get in trouble. The first semester is easy, but see, your behavior, because once the excitement is gone, the reality has to set in. And so people take bad behaviors because they have no mothers, they have no fathers, they're not living around their parents, so they're kind of free, and so, things change. So you're saying 85% of your class is not around. She said, not that she said, and I trust her eyes. So how many of us are missing out on our dreams because of our emotions and our behavior? And one of the toughest things to do is see people that were behind you now ahead of you. Come on, somebody, don't get quiet on me now. And you wonder what happened. Come on. Number 4, you cannot help people who don't care to listen. What was that? What would that mean? Go to class. Some of the toughest classes is 8 o'clock classes, right? You can't stay up to 4 o'clock and expect to perform like you should if you'd had 8 hours of sleep. You're going to have to go. But see, here's the thing. Here's the whole caveat. Can you live without someone ruling over you? Can you do it without being attached to your emotions? Can you do it on service and principle and wanting to accomplish your goal? Or is it always an emotional decision? Make sense? You cannot fool with people who keep rejecting knowledge. And here's one. You can't deal with people who stuck in their own world. No matter what you tell them, they still stuck in 72. I know some of y'all wasn't born then. You weren't born then. How old are you? 10. Yeah, 10. What is this? So you were born in 2009? What you doing in my class? Get out of here. Somebody give us some snacks. 10 years. She 10 years ago. God, what would I give to be 10 years old? Lord, I had hair. I was going down the side, I bumped my head, and I got some scratches up there. I said, God, good thing there ain't too many people taller than me, because it looked like somebody hit me in the head. There's like 5 scratches up there. 10 years. Who would give something to me? You have no bills. Come on, is this your grandmother? You go to grandmother's house, you eat up everything. You get to go in the refrigerator 50 times, You can use up all the toilet paper. Ain't nobody hollering at you in the bathroom. Ah, bathroom. You're like, no, I got my own bathroom. Yay. Yes. You can't help people, now watch this, who don't want it from you. You can't help people who aren't willing to do what it takes to get it done. We're going to go, and we were talking about someone used a word, what was that word, negativity? I'm going to ask you a question. If I was using a topic I used last week, start kind of thinking. And as I was thinking, I wrote this. I'm going to ask you this question. What drives your energy? What drives your energy? Because everything that you do, something has to drive it. Because if it's driving your energy, it's actually guiding your spirit. We got the first slide. Because what happens is we don't understand what affects our growth. Negative energy, dark clouds. And some people don't get it until there's a dark cloud over them. This particular thing, I think the gentleman says, he can't even think unless there's something negative. Some people are not happy. Some people are uncomfortable in positive situations. They got to take it all the way to the left. And they got to make it about, in other words, it can't be a simple conversation. It has to be control and dominate. It can't be a difference in ideas. I'm quite sure you've seen this in some of your classes. Someone has to try to dominate the other person. So you have to say what drives your energy, because many times what's driving people's energy is negative thinking. But before you can have negative thinking, you have to have an association with negative thoughts. Next slide. And so if you allow your environment, as the five foolish did, if you will allow your environment to influence your thinking, it has control of your thoughts, and your thoughts have control of your thinking. And so when your thoughts have control of your thinking, you will literally talk yourself out of whatever it was you were supposed to be doing. This is why this one says, follow your dreams. And this is what I thought about this. There are some people, as you're 10, you should have wonderful dreams, great imagination, things that you want to accomplish. Here's the thing. Do you not know there's another set of thinking that wants to control and crush your dreams? And you know why? Because if you don't have a solid foundation, if you do not establish principles and structures in your life, this is what happened to people who went to college and didn't come back after the first semester. They had all the potential in the world. They lack substance. They lack uncontrolled behavior. What do you mean, uncontrolled? If someone else has to control your behavior, you are not free. Watch this. Your goals should control your behavior. Where you want to be you should learn. Here's a word I had to learn. You should learn the disciplines of successful people. You cannot be successful and wild at the same time. You can get things, but success isn't a moment. Success is something that continues to go up, 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 up. Anybody can hit it. It's the same thing with people who hit the lottery. 70+%, I think it's between 70 and 70% of the people hit the lottery are broke within 3 to 5 years. And it doesn't matter the amount of millions of dollars that they've received. The problem is they never had the proper infrastructure. And to go to college and to stay in college, you're going to have a different infrastructure. But if you lack that infrastructure, as the five foolish, you want to stay up all night, you want to play games, you want to talk on the phone, you want to surf on social media, you want to do all these things, and yet you want to pass the class. You cannot pass the class giving all of your energy to fail matters of life. That is a new thing. Fail matters of life. We hang around failure way too much. And so then when you should be positive and be like this little young pretty lady at 10 years old, come on up here and get on the Campbell with me. I got a bunch of old people in here with me except for one or two. Blow it up. I want to see some young faces. Hey, you waving at people all across the world. Wave at them. Tell them your name.
I'm Brielle.
You Brielle, okay. She got a tough name. She's from Charleston. I'm gonna have to write her name down and break it up in syllables. You know what? You're the first 10-year-old that have come to my class probably all year. You bring some friends next week, okay? See me after service. I'm gonna steal some money out the offering. I think I got $10. All right, I'm gonna give you something to go buy you something. Thank you. And you almost dressed like me. 10 years old, enthusiastic, excited. You know, she's got. And you look at these all. Somebody asking somebody, you got some being gay, my elbow been bothering me. You got some liniment for my knee. She 10 years old, she ain't got a problem in the world. She excited, she just eyes bright and teeth shining, and look, I got to spend another $7,000 to keep what I done paid $20,000 in place. I'm like, I need to rob somebody. Because if you do not get rid of negative failure around you, somebody say, accept it.
Accept it.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Learn from it.
Learn from
Let it go.
Let it go.
Accept it.
Accept it.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Learn from it.
Learn from it.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Accept it.
Accept it.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Learn from it.
Learn from it.
Let it go.
Let it go.
It'll kill tomorrow. You'll go in tomorrow with the same negative attitude, and there are some seeds and some possibilities, but you will kill them with your negative energy. And anytime the word negative, this is what the five foolish did. They did everything temporal. They thought of nothing long term. I'm going to say something that's contradictory. Quit worrying about the moment and start laying a plan for the future. Because I'm quite sure there were some tough days that you was like, I don't know if I can do this. And so sometime in your journey, you're going to have tears. You're going to have brokenness. You're going to have people who you thought were with you who will leave you because they weren't fit or prepared to go the distance with you. And my question to you this evening is, how much space does those people and those things still have in your mind today? If they're in your mind today, they have affected you mentally, they have affected you psychologically, and they have affected your personality until you may be missing an opportunity because you're somewhere stuck in something that's no longer stuck in you. Boy, it's mighty quiet right here. You're stuck in 93. You're stuck in 2001. You're stuck on a divorce. You're stuck on a breakup. You're stuck on a separation. You're stuck on poverty. If you continue to be stuck, here is a word that I have a problem with that comes from certain ethnicity groups all the time. Struggle and survival. Ask me why I hate those two words. Hate is a strong word. There's no future in either one. I hear people say all the time, I'm struggling. If you're struggling, you don't have room for creativity. If you're struggling, if everything in your mind is so hard, your creativity is locked out of your mind. So then that means nothing comes in. Come on, y'all. We only got 8 minutes together. Don't get. Nothing can come in. So nothing goes out. So nothing can be learned. Because if you are struggling, do you know what you're struggling from? Here's the 3 types of struggle: struggling from, struggling with, and struggling to. If you're just struggling, you don't even know where you're at. You don't even know where you're going. You're just trapped on a hamster wheel. Next slide. You're just trapped on a hamster wheel because everything to you is just like that. And there's always a clown that's just waiting to throw another stumbling block in your way. And you have the immediate gall to say, I'm surviving. When God said, I come that you what? It's a choice. You blame everything on your race. You blame everything on your mom. You blame everything on your dad. You blame everything on your past. And you never take responsibility for your decisions. And if you don't take responsibility for your decisions, you cannot take responsibility for your actions. My question is, what kind of thinking you have? Well, we just gonna be. Here's the problem I have. Come on back up here, sweet. Let me show you something. Put me in the box, because I like that little picture. See, some of us walk around all day with a cloud. Everything, oh, I know they're gonna say something. I know they're gonna say something. I know they ain't gonna hide me. They ain't gonna hide me. They ain't gonna, it's just how it is. Just how it is, Oh, y'all know. They're not gonna let me. Here's the problem. Let me tell you the biggest reason I have a problem with survival. Nothing is sown. How old are you?
10.
So what you got for her? So why would you have her if you don't have a plan for her? Now I'm gonna take it further. You can be an aunt, you can be an uncle. Oh, I didn't have children, and da da da. You got nieces and.
Never.
So if you don't plan nothing, and your whole life is wrapped around struggle and survival, what have you set up for her? Oh, you told like you gonna make it, you got to make it, I had to make it, it was hard on me. Can I mess you up? The Bible says a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. What are you going to leave this little bright 10-year-old? What are you going to leave her? Struggle and survival? You're going to die and we need to go fund me? What did you leave? She said it. Go ahead, say it, baby.
Nothing, I guess.
There you go. Say it loud. Say it in my microphone. Say
Nothing, I guess.
nothing, I guess. So how is she going to face the world when you have not set up anything? Because you've been in two modes your whole life: struggle and survival. I'm just gonna work. I'm just gonna work. Most jobs are not going to pay you enough to do something with. Because when you are struggling, you lock out learning, and you lock out adapting, and you lock out adjusting. Because what plan do you have? Because everybody's, oh, the Lord bless, oh, the Lord bless. Okay, what's going to be their blessing? Hard times?
Could
Yeah, she talk. I like a kid that talk back. She said could be. And you're 10, right? So in 10 years, if it's costing $30,000 to go to school now, what is it going to cost in 10 years? It ain't easy, is it? You on campus or off campus? Oh, thank you. Finally.
No, it's like it's their own thing only, but it's
Okay. So what do you got for her? Because every penny you got, you down at the liquor store. Every penny you got, you at the club. Every penny you got, you always buying food. So what is it? What is it for her? Because listen, there are people, you can take us out the box. Thank you, babe. There are people that are sitting there while you are on your self-pity stool that are just waiting to crack your face with something else. Next slide. So my question becomes, how do you encourage yourself if you cannot get the dark cloud of negativity from around you? Because here's what I said. Negative energy drives your thoughts. Your thoughts drive your mood. Your mood is driven, and then it takes control of your attitude, which affects your behavior that will lead to bad decision making. The five foolish. So my question becomes, as we get ready to try to close this, who are you hanging around? Do we have another slide? Okay. Give me the guy back in the jar. Who are you hanging around? Now watch this. That's not going where you can go. And I say this all the time. If you were at, and I actually got this from the people that I got to pay $7,000 to keep these teeth together. They said, oh, we got a new, I don't know what they call them. And they said, we waited on him for 3 years. And the two words that came out of their mouth, when they went down to the College of Charleston or wherever the dental school is in Charleston, they said, we want your best and your brightest. And they waited 3 years to get the best and the brightest. And I want to ask you as I get ready to close, how much about you is affecting you? How much about you don't like your size, you don't like your shape, you don't like your hair? Listen, I can't fall out with nobody over hair. My hair was leaving at 19. And I don't know I'm bald until somebody say it. The kids would be like, well, you ain't got no hair, pals. I'd be like, what? It's gold? They'd be like, yeah. You didn't know it? I was like, no. I'm going to have to go find it. If you were at your best and you were at your brightest, how many people would be in your circle today? How many people are you denying yourself just to fit in? Don't ever try to fit in, baby. Because if you try to fit in, can I tell you that these old people can't get? If you try to fit in, that means you didn't belong. Your level is at a different level. We have programmed our kids and we have programmed ourselves to try to fit in somewhere that maybe we really didn't belong. You might be a nerd, you might be a geek. Those are not bad words. Those are people that's going to get paid and live behind gated fences. So if you're going to be a geek and you're going to be a nerd, be a geek and a nerd. Because when you try to fit in, you reduce your value. When you try to win the acceptance of other people, you lose who you are. Am I making sense? This is what happened to the 5 foolish. They pretended to be something. They had the same qualifications. They were the same people, but here's the problem. They did not see their value. Would somebody get me real quick Numbers 13, I believe it's 13 and 33. Here's my problem that I've been saying for years. When you get it, holler at me, let me know. And this is what I wrote, and I'm closing. There are people who will steal your dreams and sell them back to you. You know why? There's certain ethnicity groups, they don't want to think. So then they program you that you're not supposed to think. And if you're going to have something, you're going to be something, the first thing you got to do is believe in yourself. Okay? And I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound crazy. Sometimes you don't need encouragement from anybody else. It doesn't mean you're arrogant. I have an uncle that I love very dearly. But some people don't understand that you have been beat down so bad that the only 2 things you can believe in, you and God. And if God don't help you, you already know you're a failure. And if God has told you he's going to help you, you're going to have to pick yourself up no matter where you are, no matter who left you, no matter whether they put you in a pit, you wasn't a family pig, you were the black sheep. It don't matter. What matters is how many steps you're going to take to move forward. Amen. I cannot live in my past. I cannot please people anymore. I cannot look for the validation of people anymore. I have to push. Amen. Don't try to fit in. Don't try to get along. Because maybe that's not your group. Your group has a different calling. Can I talk to somebody? Go ahead. And so you give up because you don't see the other eagles. Lord have mercy. Somebody don't play with me now. You don't see the other eagles because you're looking in the chicken yard. So you try to be a chicken when you have the mind of an eagle. See, the difference in the chicken is he only can fly 6 feet high, and the eagle can fly as high as he want to fly. So there are people who will reduce you because they will find the things that weaken you. And you need to find people who will strengthen you because of what you can bring and not what you have. If you can't go forward, then don't try to hang on to it. Because many people have lost the battle. Because people and society and communities has told you you were different. And because we're human and we like to be around people, we try to fit in. And you have to push yourself. That if you dream it, you got to believe it. And if you believe it, you got to do the work to make it happen. Don't let anybody tell you if you have the capacity to be a doctor. Yes, here we are. And they what?
There we saw the giant. The son of Adam. Which come of the giant.
So you know their history. See, some people know their history, but they don't want you to make history. Come on. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know who I'm talking to, and I'm trying to get out of here. But some people will literally hate you because you can go to school, but they can't. But see, here's the thing you got to understand. If you don't do what I do, then you can't have what I have. And if I did what I did to get what I got, it had nothing to do with you. You need to do what you need to do in order to get to where you want to be. So quit selling yourself short. If you can afford to eat at a fancy restaurant, go. Don't eat down at the chicken shack just because everybody else down at the chicken shack. Then you come out, your stomach all bloated. You like, ooh, Lord, I couldn't go in there. Ooh, Lord, cause that your DNA can't handle chicken shack kind of grease. You sell yourself short because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Who would you rather offend, them or God? Now let me show you something. Come on, let's put the scripture back up. Here's where God fell out with them. Because somebody real quick find the scripture that God said when he made man that you were good. And God says, I have no respect of person. So then why would you sell yourself short? Why? Let me show you where God and Israel fell out. This is my kind of teaching. You know, hey, you ain't getting the bougie teaching that you've been getting. This is me. It says, which comes from the giants, and when we what? Saw, and we were in our what? Own. How you look at somebody real quick, say, how you see yourself, man?
How you see yourself?
How you see yourself? She about to slap him all on broadcast all across the world. He called your name. He did that, Lord, Mimi, put the camera on him. Hit him real quick. You should have saw her expression. She ain't gonna do it now, but you should have saw her expression when he hollered, and he said, what would you call her, Shirley? He said, Shirley, you call my name. She perked up. Now put the other camera on and put the other camera. We don't want no behind the scenes. I want folk to see. How many more years are you going to sell yourself short? And this is when you break the covenant with God. Now, I'm going to show you something real quick and I'm going to let you go. When you see yourself less than what God has created you to be, you are an offense to God. Nobody ever probably told you that happened. Because they told you, you doing it, you going to make the family be proud, you doing it, you going to have something for yourself. No, sugar. God put that in you. And you have a choice to use it for good or use it for evil. God has a problem with how you see yourself. God isn't, he's concerned about your size. Now we all need to be healthy. He ain't concerned about your height. He ain't concerned about your color, your texture, how long, how short your hair is. He ain't concerned about whether you got big knees, little feet, big feet. God's not interested. God says, I have a problem. And we were in our own. See, let me say this, and I got to let y'all go. When you think of yourself as less, you create an atmosphere of less. If you come from nothing, if you come from where you had to put your meat in the ground and you didn't have a refrigerator, God says, but now you have refrigerators. So why do you act like you don't? You see, God can change your environment, but God doesn't change your mind. You have to change your mind. That's one of the powers that he left in humanity. So how you see yourself. So we say in our own sights, I'm less. So anytime, now hear me, anytime that you think less, because you measure who you are based on what you have, not what you have the potential to become. Do I need to say that again? You base yourself on what you have or don't have. You don't base it on what your potential and substance is. So, now watch this. God told them they're in your land. But you tell God, I see myself as a grasshopper. So what they were telling God is, we are more afraid of the giants than we are of you. And anytime that you're not maxing out your gifts for the Lord, you're telling God the problem is bigger than you. And I don't see myself accomplishing it because it's hard, Lord. God doesn't open a gate and then can't take you to the other end of the gate. God opens the gate and you have to bring all of your resources together. But because you're going to have to lose and leave some things, you say to God, I'm a grasshopper. When God said, I made you in my own image. So why can you not think? Why does other people outthink you? You know why? We keep giving ourselves over to our past. Because to accept responsibility means that I've got to change my personality and the dynamics of what I do every day. See, successful people take responsibility for stuff. People who look to be failures, they live in negative energy and blame everybody else and say they don't have. So it's easy and convincing to say I'm struggling and I'm surviving, because there's no responsibility in struggling. There's no responsibility in surviving. But the people who say that there's something greater in me, come on, this is the Bible. He said, greater is he that's what? So why are you so focused on what's outside of you? Because somebody has made you believe that you were less. So if they can make you believe that you're less, then you'll think you're supposed to have less. So then when the opportunity comes for a job or promotion or to even fill out and go through it, you'll say to yourself, well, that ain't for me. Oh, I wish I can't do that. That's for somebody else. I like it right here because it's safe. And that is an insult to God. Because the last thing I'm going to say is God getting out of you everything that he put in you. Oh, it's quiet now. Come on, let's stand. Let's go. It's quiet now. Is God getting out of you? Come on, shut up. Everything that he's put into you. So when you see Jesus, you know they sing that song, when I see Jesus. What you gonna tell him? What you gonna tell him? Lord, the whole time I was down there, I was struggling and I was surviving. And God says, I told you to plant something. If you don't plant, you can't harvest. If you don't fertilize it, it can't grow. You don't understand that your struggles are your fertilization. You don't understand being stuck are the roots that you got to pull up, because you, just like you became stuck, you can become unstuck. Because greater is he than, can I make it plain? There's nobody in the world that should outsmart a believer in Christ. But I ain't got that kind of folk to talk like that tonight, because I'm going to have to wait. Probably when I go to Detroit, I can talk like that to them. There's nobody in the world that should outsmart you. You're going to say the devil got more creativity than you, but who did God kick out of heaven? Satan didn't kick God out. God kicked Satan out. So how do you let the devil have more creativity than you? Because you see yourself as a grasshopper. And you want God to fight your battle when he gave you the tools to fight your own battle. So somebody got to quit taking less tonight. I don't know who that's for and where it's at, but somebody got to quit taking less. Somebody got to bow up and look a problem in the face and say, listen, I can't take you down all together, but a little by little, I'm going to chop it down. I'm going to chop it down. I'm going to get my schooling. I'm going to get my education. I'm going to get that job. I'm going to apply. I'm going to look outside the box. The problem is you're scared. You got grasshopper mindset. You don't never see no eagles flying with no chickens. You don't ever see no giraffe talking to a turtle. A giraffe will break his neck trying to listen to a turtle. Turtle down there, I want you to know that what is that over yon? The giraffe almost break his neck trying to drink water. Let alone talking to a person. Why would a giraffe come down there and talk to a struggling turtle? You got something?
Romans 2:11.
Romans 2. Notice how she said, we know we're in Greenwood. Romans 2:11. Come on. Not 2:11. Romans 2:11.
2:11.
Okay.
For there is no respect of person with God.
So why are you living beneath? Y'all got to go home and sleep on that one, don't you? Come on, all lift the hands. Let's go old school. Let the words in my mouth. Meditation of my heart. Be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Let every heart